Welcome to Sage Audio. Let's talk about how to make a powerful mix. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. First fix, excessive overlap. The tips in this video are in no particular order, but I put this one first since skipping it is going to lead to a lot of problems. Now, before we begin to amplify anything, let's take a look at where our bass frequencies are overlapping. I'm going to use the Pro Q3 since it makes it a bit easier. I'll place the EQ on the bass and then sidechain the kick drum. Then I'll reduce where they overlap. Now, some overlap is always going to exist and so will subsequent masking, but controlling it is incredibly important. Let's take a listen and notice how it improves definition in the lows.
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. I was inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still for what I have.
Ensure mono compatibility. Although a wide stereo image can be enjoyable, too wide of lows is a problem, especially if you want a powerful driving mix. So on my instrument buses, or maybe even my stereo output, I'm going to attenuate the side image's lows with a high-pass filter. This is going to make the lows mono, focused, and create a powerful low end. Let's take a listen.
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. I was inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still wouldn't trade a thing for what I have.
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Dynamic amplification of fundamentals. Since we took care of excessive overlap in the lows in Chapter 1, we can amplify some of our fundamentals. I'll do this to the kick and the vocal, but where you apply this is up to you. On each, I'm going to create a band over the fundamental and make it dynamic. Now, notice that the kick's fundamental is static, whereas the vocals moves around. Now, this is because the vocals notes are variable. When that's the case, I'm typically going to choose the root note. So let's take a listen with this EQ applied.
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. I was inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still I roll no limp though. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I have.
Advanced Saturation, Part 1. Let's start looking at some advanced techniques. With FabFilter Saturn II, I'm going to saturate my drum bus, but use these ideas on any signal. I'm going to create 3 bands of saturation, then create an envelope follower, which I'll switch to transient mode and shorten the ADSR. I'm then going to attach this to my drive dial and adjust the amount that this follower affects the drive function's dynamics. I can then do this for each band to varying degrees, creating program-dependent distortion that emphasizes transients. I'm going to use this same follower on my dynamics dial. I'll invert the value of the follower's effect, then increase the dynamic dial. This creates a dense sound when things are quiet and a dynamic one when a transient hits. Let's take a listen to this on a drum bus and keep in mind how you could use this on other sources. Advanced Saturation, Part 2. Let's build on what we did in the last chapter by introducing stereo imaging. First, I need to enable mid-side processing in the plugin. For simplicity's sake, I'll use the same envelope follower and attach it to the drive dial's panning, meaning I can make my distortion dynamically, centered, or wide. For the lows, I'll make them more dynamically mono, similar to the EQ that we used in Chapter 2. For the highs, I'll make them dynamically wider. Again, let's listen to the drum bus and note how these additional parameters make for more powerful drums. Aggressive parallel processing. When you're making a powerful mix, you can't be afraid of processing, but a parallel track definitely is going to help take some of the edge off by letting you blend in the effects. On a parallel track, I'm first going to use a transient expander to emphasize the details and transients. I'll use Newfangled Audio's Punctuate for this, since it can create 26 independent bands of transient expansion. Then I'll use their plugin Saturate to hard clip the transients that Punctuate created, driving the signal into its brick wall. The result is a super aggressive sound, so let's try this out on drums and blend the effect in with the fader. even more aggressive, parallel processing. Let's do the same thing that we did in the last chapter, that is use the newfangled transient expander and clipper, and then add in upward compression. By doing this, I'm taking all of the quieter details that got created from this processing and bringing it to the front. Let's take a listen to the difference a low-level compressor is going to make to the parallel track.
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Nails inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still, but I wouldn't trade a thing for what I had.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Important, mid-frequencies to EQ. We focused a lot so far on the lows, which of course have a lot to do with making a powerful mix, but let's also look at the mids. If we want a signal to be perceived as closer, amplify a harmonic around 500 Hz. If we want that signal to stick out or cut through, amplify 3 to 5 kHz or the high mids. Let's affect these frequencies on a vocal to better understand what they do.
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Nails inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still I roll no limp though. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I had.
Upward compression on mids. For this technique, I'm going to set up a parallel track again and use a linear phase EQ to isolate the mids with a bandpass filter. Then I'll place my upward compressor on the track and increase low-level detail to whatever instrument I want to send to it. So, say my vocals are lacking power in the mids, I'll send them to the bus, same for guitars, synths, or whatever signal is sounding weak. Let's take a listen to how this track affects the mids and overall power of the mix.
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Nails inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still I roll no limp though. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I had.
Gullfoss EQ on mids. Similar to our lows, having balance in the mids is important. Like chapter 1, we could find overlaps and attenuate those, but let's look at a different, albeit simpler way to balance these frequencies. All I'll do is insert the Gullfoss EQ and isolate the processing to the mids. We could place this processor on a bus and send instruments to it like we did in the last chapter, so let's just do that and notice how balancing the mids creates a more powerful mix overall.
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Nails inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still I roll no limp though. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I had.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.